So I want to make clear he wasn't physically abusive each and every day. There were long stretches of time. There was no physical abuse. Most of it, in retrospect, when I look back, was emotional and mental stuff. It was, we're not getting along because he's being distant, like, or never home. And so I'm pushing for closeness and attention, and suddenly stuff's going missing, and I think I'm crazy. But then I find it in places I already looked, and I'm told, see, I found it. like gaslighting is what they call it. But I didn't know that at the time, that that's what was happening. I just know that when things were really stressful and we weren't getting along in a sharp way, because we were never close, he was so distant and distracted all the time by whatever. Uh, that's when stuff of mine would go missing. And I'd look everywhere for it, and I'd tell him, and he'd find it in places I already looked. And I was beginning to think I was crazy because who would do that, right? Like, why would someone hide stuff from you and then put it back? Like, that's nuts, right? I must be the crazy one. Uh, so, got pregnant with no, before that, we separated because he was so cold and distant and occasionally abusive physically. And I'd had enough, and I asked him to move out, and so he did. That was when, after he moved out, things started getting moved in the house blatantly. But, so here's the thing. We lived in one apartment, and we moved into the apartment next door because the people moved out. I wanted that apartment because it had just patio glass sliding doors on the side, which would make it easier for us to get our oldest in. She was in a wheelchair. We moved in there, and then I had him move out because he was just so, he was either never home, or when he was so cold. I don't know how to describe it. It was almost like living with a lizard. Anyway, when that happened, stuff started getting moved around. Now, this is in 1992. Gaslighting, narcissism wasn't discussed or even whatever. Like, when I would mention stuff, this got moved, and then I found out it was me. I was like, I'm forgetful. So I didn't think it was him. Like, yeah, okay. I just never dawned on me that that was him doing it. We ended up reconciling and getting back together. I ended up, he got a job doing carpet cleaning. He had a lot of different jobs, but he got this job, and it was decent money. So we bought this mobile home in El Cajon on a highway. And I got pregnant, and that was not planned either. But I'm like, this is whatever. It was 6 years since we had Rachel, and it was like, we can do this. So we had our son, our oldest son. While I was pregnant with him, I developed full blown, it wasn't preeclampsia, it was the full blown one. I can't remember. In any case, it was put into labor. It was induced, and I had him, and we went home, and they told me, the doctor and the nurses told me, and my husband, Neil, that her blood pressure is still dangerously high. Oh, toxemia. I had full-blown toxemia. Anyway, they told him, don't stress her out. Her blood pressure is really high. She could have a stroke. So we go home. And we had a big cat. He was like 17 pounds. And I had told Neil, we had the crib in our bedroom, and I said, hey, could you make sure Felix doesn't come into the room, because I don't want him getting into the crib with our son. And he's like, yeah. So I go to bed. I'm exhausted. I just had a baby. My blood pressure is still, I've got pounding headache. I still have really high blood pressure. And I go to bed. I wake up, Neil's next to me. And I go to check on the baby. And I hear the cat in the room. And I'm like, you didn't put the cat out? You didn't put Felix out? And I could hear him. He was doing his teetering thing. I'm like, we need to put him out. You didn't put him out. And I don't know why. I have theories as to why, but his reaction was bizarre, like way over the top. The man threw me on the bed and started like doing this. It was into a pillow, but he's doing this with my head because I wanted him to find the cat, and get him out of our room so he didn't jump into the crib with the baby, newborn baby. And I look back and I think they told him if I stressed out too much, I could have a stroke. Anyway, he scared the crap out of me. He finally got off of me. He put the cat out. I grabbed the baby and ran out of the house because he scared the stuff out of me. And I called my dad on the payphone. He shows up where I'm at the payphone and makes me come home. I'm sorry, I lost it. I'm just really stressed. Of course, I'm not, right? I just developed toxemia, had labor induced, and got a headache, and still not doing well, but he's stressed. Okay, we go home because I'm stupid at this point. I got in the car with him. We go home. And he was just vile. Please forgive me. I need to back up. That was not the first time. The first time when I was talking about our oldest daughter being born with spina bifida, she was in the NICU for almost 3 weeks. And he was at work, so he said, and I was in the NICU with her the whole time. And I saw I was exhausted. We brought her home. And she would cry in the middle of the night. It was the first night back, actually. And so I go to feed her, and I'm so tired. And so I'm feeding her, and she falls asleep. And so then I fell asleep, and I was jarred awake. You fell asleep. Give her to me. And he rips her out of my arms, grabs her from me. He goes, you fell asleep feeding our baby. What kind of mother are you? So that was my first experience having a child with him. And my second was him basically attacking me and me having to leave in the night because I thought he was going to freaking murder me. He had a tendency when I was physically vulnerable to get physically violent. I got heavy during our marriage. If I was heavier and healthier, he never came at me physically. But if I was vulnerable, he did. It's like he was a coward. He wanted to beat me, but he could only do it if I was physically vulnerable. And me having just giving birth to our first and second children in both cases, he got physically violent.